hoping about 20 minutes early. Jackson may be showing up. I don't know. There's our various patrons whose money coming in helps get this very uncertain product. What can I say? Anyway, I'm still plugging away at it. The progress on volume 2 of the rocks there is proceeding. If you thought this had a pile of interesting stuff in volume 2, also the contentious sub-evolution and all that. It's going to be absolutely delicious stuff with citations from the current year. So that brings things up to that. And other myself to get our connection. Anyway, Jensen finally concludes the section where he's got a couple more putting up, and he has a question that the amount of rare differences in the human population fits a model of recent population expansion, unquote. And that leads to a footnote where it includes some study that are on recent population, like in the last few hundred years or so, like Coventry 2010. I'll be putting a link up to that, but not recent in the like 5,000 or 6,000 year range that he dealt with, except for a couple papers. And this is where he really got off the bandwagon, because he brings up the Tennessen paper from 2012 and the Fu paper from 2013. These came up peripherally in volume 1. Volume 1. The paper Tomkins, who tries to show these support the humans originated literally in the last 5,000 years. Nope, that's not what the papers were saying. So we'll be putting such a juicy bit that it's going into volume 2 in relation to Tomkins' representation of the genetic material and by connection, Nathaniel Jensen. What the Tennessen paper actually found was a burst in population growth, not emergence out of nothing, over the last 1,115 years among Europeans, not the entire planet's population. And there's actually a somewhat lower rate of growth among African, the demographics they were looking at. There was no assertion that the entire human genome had diversified during that time, let alone from Ararat or Babel. And in fact, history just for the Europeans sprawled out the YEC boundaries, as Tennessen paper explicitly indicated. There were 2 prior population bottleneck events, one 51,000 years ago and a second one 23,000 years ago. Spoiler alert, that's more than 6,000 years, and it's more than 5,000 years. More numbers in that 5,000 year frame came up with the Fu paper, which had been building on the Tennessen work. They estimated, quote, approximately 17 single nucleotide variants, and approximately 80% of these predicted to be deleterious grows in the past 5,000 to 2,000 years. The latter number pertaining to the Africans just left that. And so there are people that have been living off of this, just leave 10,000 apart. Our show here, let's do 20 link to just my creation link up on that. if they were picking their way around a data field, drawing on science work that their creationists picked apart in compiling, and question of the mythological past and biogeography, such as the Soup 2014 that I'll be putting the link to. Cox, however, had to step direct around content. Vigneault on modern whale shark populations, and I'll be putting that because they had noted, quote, analysis of teeth suggests that whale sharks first appear in the fossil record at least 30 million years ago, board in unpublished data. Whale sharks probably formed a single population in the past that was divided when the Isthmus of Panama closed during the Pliocene, citing Coates and Obando, Hogg and Kewin. And this ended the pan-global connection of tropical seas across what are now the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean basins, unquote. Cox also cited a 2009 paper on Oligocene sharks, and I'll be putting a link up to that, but dismissed their age solely because their teeth were so similar to modern ones, which was a trick because it's because of the shape of teeth that the fossils were being assigned to that family to begin with. As to the geological dating of the deposit, they're found in South Carolina. Cox addressed none of that, like whether or not South Carolina, how that could accommodate the flood, what exactly was going on. So we await his monograph. Don't hold your breath. Then there are the dentical armor around the eyes. A 2020 paper, Tomita, that our little pal, wonderful whale sharks was citing. That origin. There is adaptive scenarios involving that the Tomita paper went into, but Cox decided, no, that's not important. About that, I just dismissed it as just an evolutionary fairy tale. There's essentially initial work on it. So everybody there can keep track whether Cox is able to pay attention to this again, and other people. So if we check this issue 5 or 10 years from now, we'll see whether or not it's just become another thing going into the flush bin of creationism. That to Jackson, he may not be able to comment on this, and we'll fuddling along as quickly as possible. Is occupying my attention for a few days relates to the Precambrian bunny issue. Creationists are well aware of the fact that an awful lot of fossils don't show up in spots that make sense from their perspective, and they do go through a lot of song and dance about it. Well, the Precambrian bunny issue was originally proposed, what would disprove evolution? And J.B.S. Haldane and Richard Dawkins have discussed this, which is that, if you find a Precambrian bunny all the way back in the Precambrian, that's a big problem to accommodate. You shouldn't be expecting that before the chordates. Doesn't make any sense at all. And what Sean Doyle and some of his associates have done is try to turn this on its head and make it hard. So there we go. If you have evolutionary people, it applies to creationism too. Remember that families as kinds typically. So you have an created kind, and then you have a bunch of stuff that apparently is diversified from it. Okay, we're running again. I'll try to resume my train of thought on the ghost lineage issue. That if you have a creationist would have just as big of a problem on here, because you have an organism and then you have presumably descendant organisms. Well, in a different mode, stuff happening literally fast in order to be captured. The ghost lineage issue is a different one. You have a similar looking organism on here, but it actually has fossils. Everything about that, it being in this lineage, well, was there not a ghost lineage that you just don't have the fossil record for? Was there a good reason for there not to be a fossil record for it? Are they of extremely difficult fossil animals? A little itty bitty thing with very small bones, environments that don't fossilize easily. There are a whole bunch to discuss those various reasons why things would be doing. So the examples that Doyle brought up in this particular bit, we're going to be going through every single one of them in the course, most of which will be in this Precambrian bunny info box, but there are others that relate to you.
Hello, RJ. Can you hear me?
Not getting anything, but then again,
RJ?
I may be breaking up.
RJ, can you hear me?
Yes.
I can barely hear you. It's roboting a lot.
Yeah, I probably so conversation. But anyway, you've just finished your orangutan, and so much we're really wanting to bring what's going on.
RJ, I barely caught any, and he's gone. Well. Oh, is this live? Are we actually on air right now?
Connections are really bad in here suddenly. Oh, wait a minute.
Well, you look a lot better now.
Coming on. We'll try to run it as bad as we get. About how you're dealing with from your end. I've been mingling like mad with the stuff for the Big Slosh chapter and hyping up about the fact that if everybody liked Volume 1, boy, wait till they see what's in Volume 2.
Exactly. Volume 2 is going to be a lot more, of the same in a sense. We're combing through with a fine-toothed comb the different creationist arguments and how they all fail dramatically to explain the data. So
having connection issues again. Okay. Well, I think we'll go ahead and just end the stream here. We're 15 minutes. I'll be able to put links up to the stuff